All right, I'm meeting with Josh Schachnow, who is developing new family law software. He's a family law lawyer. He's seen the need for new software in the family law sector, and he's developing it and using AI as part of the new software that you're developing, right? So you're at this point, I understand you're developing a new intake process. What role is AI playing in your intake process?
Yeah, Brian. So right now we're using AI very strategically. You and I were talking before how we still want to be a little bit careful with AI, especially as regards to privacy and security of our clients' confidential information. And number two, accuracy, right? There's kind of a fine line there. So right now, what we're using AI for largely is as an assistant, especially client facing. So, for example, let's say you were to retain a new client, and one of your first steps is to send them a long intake form with lots of questions and lots of details, and that can be intimidating and confusing and difficult, especially people going through these difficult family law matters. And they might come back and forth with you or your assistant or your clerk or whoever it be with questions and clarifications. But imagine if 90% of those questions could just be answered by AI at any point in time, right? Your client can log in to an online intake form and start filling out answers right away. And if they get stuck, they can have a quick conversation with AI on the side that can instantly provide answers to their questions so that they can hopefully provide all of the important information as quickly as possible. The other big use we're having it do right now is actually helping your clients improve their writing, right? So as you might know, you might ask a client, "Hey, tell me about the time when," or "Tell me about the instance when," and they go on a tangent or a word vomit. They're not using capital letters. They might forget the period. They might not be putting paragraph spaces. And you or your team end up with this paragraphs long of text. And it can be very, God knows how much time you might spend reviewing and rewriting and editing and stuff like that. And what we have built into the platform, this is all totally optional. The AI features are totally optional, where the user can start inputting information or dumping large amounts of information and then asking AI to rewrite it and improve it and fix the grammar, fix the spelling mistakes, add some paragraphs and stuff like that. Again, totally optional, but these are just two ways for right now that we're starting to use it to improve the intake process, both so that your client has an easier time and your team receives much better information to get started with.
Right, and less time by my team supporting the new client to input the information. Right, those questions are being answered by the AI that you're training and helping it develop so that it makes it easier. But then when you go to document preparation, it's actually you're not going to be using AI for that, right? There's too many risks. It's not just unnecessary, is that right?
I mean, for the time being, we're definitely going to be including some AI features to allow your team to improve, maybe edit, maybe rewrite certain things as needed. But when it comes to actually filling out court forms, for example, that's where we draw one of our lines for AI. Because, for example, your client uses software and AI to prepare as much information as humanly possible that's going to be helpful for you and then sends it to you. And then your team is obviously going to review, edit, touch up, and get everything ready for how you need it to, for example, put into a court form. Once your team has finalized that information all in an online platform, we don't think it's worth the risk and the privacy and confidentiality concerns of using AI to fill out a court form. You've prepared all the information. You're happy with it. You've reviewed it. You've edited it. We just use automation to virtually copy paste that information onto the court form, whether it be a Form 8, a Form 13, a Form 35-1, whatever it might be. Because number one, for accuracy, if your firm has prepared it exactly like you want it, you might as well just copy and paste it. There's no
Right.
point in risking that hallucination of the AI rewriting something or misinterpreting it or whatever it might be. And secondly, there's an entirely big privacy and confidentiality concern here of, hey, if you've prepared all this very personal information about your client, birth dates, children's names, details of their, relationships and family history, do you want all of that information being passed through an algorithm, an LLM, right? More specifically, do you trust the big techs that are running and training these LLMs?
Right.
Most of them, and we're always using paid versions, and we're always clicking whatever settings we can to protect confidentiality, private, and not training their models on our information. But there's still some people that don't trust it, right? Hey,
Right.
this is still going somewhere on OpenAI servers or Google servers or Microsoft servers or Perplexity servers, whatever it might be. So we are being very strategic in terms of where should AI be used and be most helpful, but where is just good old automation, the old school technology, where is that just good enough to get the job done well and to protect our clients' personal information?
Right. I think that's an important distinction. People sometimes associate automation with the using AI, but those are totally different things. And yeah, that's a really good distinction. So, well, it'll
Yeah,
be
totally,
exciting.
totally different. Sorry to cut you off. Just that's why I think it's so important for lawyers to work with tools that are built from or by or for lawyers specifically, right? Because we just have a few of those extra little privacy, security, confidentiality concerns. And that's why, like I said, we probably draw the line of how and where to use AI a little bit more strict than, for example, somebody building a solution for marketers or somebody building a solution for real estate agent, whatever it might be, right? So just keeping that in mind with when you're selecting which tools and companies to work with.
Well, Josh, one of the biggest bottlenecks we all have in family law is the financial statement. So I hope you are able to solve that through automation or AI or somehow, because it really slows down the whole process.
We've got some stuff in the works. I mean, again, it begs the broader question of how do we protect clients' information, but the technology certainly exists right now where a client could theoretically upload all of their bank statements and you click a button and we have AI scan it. And probably what we'll do, our approach will be number one, how do we wash that data? And by wash data, we mean remove PII, remove personal identifying information from it so that privacy, confidentiality is no more, no longer a concern. So for example, can we build a solution where your client can upload all their bank statements? Maybe we can auto block or wash all of their information, addresses, full names, stuff like that. The AI can read all of that data. Okay, you have this many bank accounts. Here's what the balances were on these dates, on data separation, data marriage, et cetera, et cetera. It's not rocket science. It's not complex technology, right? So that's what we're thinking of and working towards. I don't know if we'll have it at the time that you're airing this video right now, but it's certainly on our radar, and there's a lot more powerful stuff that, we're going to be able to do with AI applying it specifically to family law.
Okay, well, appreciate you so much for doing this little interview, and we look forward to seeing what you produce down the road.
Thanks very much, Brian, for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. And definitely, if this connects with anyone or anyone's interested, by all means, check us out. Feel free to connect. I'm very active on LinkedIn. There's not too many with my last name. Just make sure to spell it right, and you can find me there pretty easily.
And it's called Vista. What's the name of the Vista Lab?
Our company is Visto, Visto.
Oh,
So if you want to check it out, visto.ai. Now, keep in mind, we also have an immigration law solution, so you might see that pop up on the website. Probably your best bet is to look me up on LinkedIn, Josh Schachnow. Like I said, just spell the last name right, and I'll have links to everything there. Or feel free to shoot me a message if you want to start a conversation.
okay. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Brian.